Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm Monk, and today I'm going to be doing a review for Craftopia. Now, this isn't a full review because this game isn't actually fully released just yet. However, it's a game that I picked up recently. I've really enjoyed, so I figured I would share my thoughts with you guys. Now, Craftopia is currently on the PC and the Xbox. It's also on Game Pass and was set back around £20. And this game has been published by Pocket Pair. Now, what is Craftopia, I hear you ask? Well, in the name, it has craft in it, and you do spend most of your time crafting materials, base building, or crafting equipment, even mad kind of machinery and vehicles, including Pokeballs. I mean, monster prisms, of course, not Pokeballs, but happen to essentially work in the same way, in a sense that you find a monster that you want to call your own, you get its HP down to red, you throw your ball out, you capture it, and then you have to build another machine which you can then turn it into your pet. Craftopia is an incredibly ambitious game. As I've already mentioned before, you do have the base building, but you also have a level progression system as well, which is really interesting because within that level progression system, you can work your way down combat, you can work your way down super jumps, and of course you can work your way down magic as well as animal taming as well. I think the thing that I like the most about the level progression system and the skill upgrades and acquirements is the fact that you can reset your perks and levels at any time. So if you ever go down a build, it doesn't quite work out for you, maybe the combat build, and you want to more go down magic, you can reset them at any time. Again, a nice little note about the magic I found is that I've gone down the magic side of things, maybe not like all the way down to the bottom, but I have gone down the magic side of things, and it's not necessarily too overpowered. You can, of course, go at it with sword and shield or bow and arrow, and it all kind of balances out. Normally, games like this, magic ends up being far too overpowered, and therefore means it's probably the one go-to place to actually play the game as. But not in Craftopia. There's a nice balance to it, and you can kind of dedicate your perks any way you want to go. And honestly, the perks and the level up system within this game is actually pretty in depth. Obviously, the higher level you become, the further down these trees that you can dedicate yourself. So it's quite rewarding in that sense, and it really doesn't take too long to level up either. Now, personally, I've been playing this game quite at a slow pace, but I've been assured by many people that actually play this game that if you choose to get a lot of experience, you can level up extremely fast within this game. Although that does lead me to another point, and that's that this game really is one of those games that you have to decide what you want to do in it. You have to give yourself your own tasks, your own missions. Sure enough, when you very first start the game will suggest certain tasks for you to complete. However, there's no real end game, there's no real story, there's certainly no voice acting, which, by the way, is a real disappointment because again, this is a game that I feel that kids would and can enjoy, but it kind of detaches from the game when there's no voice acting. There's a lot of NPCs in this world, but they're kind of meaningless, completely meaningless because there is no story, unfortunately. And because of that, it is one of those where you have to decide what it is that you want to accomplish in the time that you're playing. You may want to do crafting, you may want to explore, you may want to just seek out every dungeon and kill every boss in a game. And this game does have dungeons as well, just like Zelda. You go in, you find yourself some nice treasure, find yourself a boss or two as well. There's different types of dungeons I found as well. I've actually had a couple of dungeons where it's just basically a race. I've got to jump on a vehicle and get from A to B as fast as I possibly can. And also from what I've seen, all of the bosses within this game are very different, which is really nice. And also the bosses aren't necessarily only located in the dungeons too. There are on-world bosses. And when I talk about worlds, that's actually where this game gets a little bit interesting, because when you very first start out this game, you press a big red button. That big red button destroys the world as you know it. You then jump down on Noob Island. Once you do everything it is you can possibly do on Noob Island, you can then move island, go to different islands. Different islands cost an increasing amount of resources, so you need to make sure that you kind of work towards those resources in order to get onto different islands. But every island looks vastly different, which is a real plus with this game. This game is extremely diverse. It's a beautiful looking game. Personally, I think that this game is a really, really good looking game. Filled with lots of different creatures as well, that I never found that the creatures really repeated too much. Of course, there were repeats on certain islands, but when it comes to the different amount of monsters that are in this game, there's a huge variety. Unfortunately, 95% of everything does want to kill you, which is a little bit scary when you're first starting out. Honestly, I've only played this game maybe 30, 40 hours. I've gone very slow into this game. I love this game more for the crafting side of it, more for the building side of it. I like building massive towers and seeing just what I can get away with in the building limits within this game. And I've had a lot of fun with that. You can also, if you wanted to, choose to decorate it. And there's a huge variety of decorations and ways that you can make your building completely unique for you, which is really nice as well. And that's actually bound to another kind of level progression within this game, where you get to rank up your technology through the ages. It costs resources. The further down the technology tree you get, the more resources it costs, or the rarer resources that it actually costs to unlock that new age. But I found that a fun extra thing, an extra little mechanic within this game, which kind of keeps me playing, keeps me engaged in this game. Now, hands up, I am not the furthest down. I may not make this game look as good as it possibly can look. From what I've seen, you can actually go down factory building as well and have everything automated. So when it comes to farming certain resources, you can actually build factories that will farm that resource for you. So that way you then can focus more on your raids or your battles, or maybe just your building as well. So there is really good depth to this game. However, unfortunately, I do feel that it's lacking a bit in direction, a little bit of story. I think that is the final layer that possibly needs adding to this game, because it's got all the survival mechanics there. You need to eat, which is good. There's a food bar there. You have to craft all kinds of different food, or you can craft all kinds of different food, which is nice. However, like I said, when it comes to actually direction as what you should be doing, if you don't set your own goal, you could literally just be running around in circles. I would absolutely recommend this game to any survival nuts though. If you enjoy survival games, if you enjoy crafting games, or even building games, this could well be a game for you to play. It comes off a little bit lighthearted, but I think it does a very good job. It's an incredibly in-depth game, but like I said, I just feel that it needs a little bit of direction. I'm not going to give this game a score rating because it is still in open access. There is going to be hopefully a final release and final added bits. This game does seem to be getting supported quite well by the community, which is really great to see. And I look forward to seeing what this game's final product is. Possibly next year, I'll re-review it and see what's changed and see how it is. But guys, if you have stuck through to the end of the review, a big thank you to you. Don't forget to comment red banana down below just to confuse all those that didn't stick to the end of the video. And of course, as ever, if you did enjoy it and want to see more reviews throughout the year, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel. But until next time, happy gaming.